America's retail apocalypse, how 3,500 stores are set to close across the country in just the next 2 months. U.S. chains like Abercrombie & Fitch, BCBG, and Guess are shutting stores. Major department stores like Macy's, JCPenney, Sears, Kmart, and many more are also planning to close branches due to the rise of people choosing online shopping over visiting actual malls. Thousands of retail stores are set to close across the country in the next 2 months. More than 3,500 shops are expected to shut down due to the rise in online shopping and what is becoming one of the biggest retail closures in decades. Chains like Abercrombie & Fitch, American Apparel, and Guess are shutting down branches, as well as major department stores like Macy's, JCPenney, Sears, and Kmart. Many are shutting up retail outlets and trying to sell their products online. Brick-and-mortar operations have been in jeopardy for years due to the rise of people choosing e-commerce over visiting actual shopping malls. The amount of buyers visiting malls shot down by 50% between 2010 and 2013, according to research firm Cushman & Wakefield. Consumers are also said to be spending more money on travel, technology, and restaurants rather than clothing, according to Business Insider. BB is said to be closing all 170 of its stores and shifting to an all-online model, according to Bloomberg. Fashion retailer The Limited also recently shut down all 250 of its stores while still selling merchandise online. Meanwhile, others like Sears and JCPenney are trying to cut back on losses by downscaling their store counts. JCPenney is shutting down 138 stores, or 14% of its locations. Sears is closing 150 stores, or 10% of its Sears and Kmart's. Macy's is closing 63 in the spring, part of a streamlining that will see 10,000 workers laid off, including 6,200 managers. We looked at every pyramid of the company. We looked at benchmarking. We have been planning this very carefully. This is not something we did quickly, Jeff Jeanette, Macy's president and incoming chief CEO, said. It comes amid news that U.S. stores per capita greatly exceed any other country. The U.S. has 23.5 square feet of retail space per person, compared with 11.1 square feet in Australia and 16.4 in Canada, according to a Morningstar report. Many shopping malls will be forced to shut down, as well as due to the downward spiral caused by major stores like Sears closing, Business Insider reported. Malls lose business from the shoppers, and closures often prompts co-tenancy clauses. These let remaining mall tenants terminate their leases or renegotiate for lower rents until another retailer moves in the empty space. Malls must therefore quickly find a replacement, which can be hard when malls are already financially downtrodden. So here's a couple headlines just recently. I'm going to read another article here from Michael Schneider. Urban Outfitters retail carnage proves bubble has burst. This is from Fortune. Market Watch. Mall real estate investment trusts rocked by news of JCPenney store closures. News is a blow to a sector already struggling with the challenge of sliding traffic and weak sales. So you got to say, when a lot of times when these malls lose these anchors, it really screws up the whole mall. It just dies a slow death after that. And one of the big main stores. A giant wave of store closures is wreaking havoc on shopping malls. This is from Business Insider. Radio Shack closing all 187 stores in latest bankruptcy filing. Staples will close 70 stores nationwide as the country's largest office supply chain tries to recover it from poor sales. Debt-laden Neiman Marcus is exploring options, including sales. Payless has just said they're going to declare bankruptcy. Sears is going under. I'll read this article as well. It's great. Sears warns it's on the verge of collapse as Payless prepares to file for bankruptcy. More than 3,500 retail stores are going to close all across America over the next few months, as the worst retail downtown in U.S. history gets even deeper. Earlier this week, Sears shocked the world when it announced that there is substantial doubt that the company will be able to continue as a going concern much longer. In other words, Sears has announced that it is on the verge of imminent collapse. Meanwhile, Payless stunned the retail industry when it came out that they are preparing to file for bankruptcy. The retail apocalypse that I've been warning about is greatly accelerating, and many believe that this is one of the early warning signs that the economic collapse that is already going on in other parts of the globe will soon reach U.S. shores. I have repeatedly warned my readers that Sears is going to zero, and now Sears is officially saying that it might actually happen. When you file official paperwork with the government that says there is substantial doubt that the company will survive, that means that the end is very near. The company that operates Sears, the department store chain that dominated retail for decades, warned Tuesday that it faces substantial doubt about its ability to stay in business unless it can borrow more and tap cash from more of its assets. Our historical operating results indicate substantial doubt exists related to the company's ability to continue as a going concern, Sears Holdings said in a filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Sears Holdings operates both Sears and Kmart stores. In the wake of that statement, the price of Sears stock dipped 13.69% to $7.85 a share. Personally, I'm going to miss Sears very much, but of course the truth is that they simply cannot continue operating as they have been. For the quarter that ended January 28th, Sears lost an astounding $607 million. The company said it lost $607 million, or 5.67 per diluted share, during the quarter that ended January 28th. That compared with a loss of $580 million, or 5.44 per diluted share a year earlier. It has posted a loss in all but 2 of the last 24 quarters, according to S&P Global Market Intelligence. How in the world is it possible for a retailer to lose that amount of money in just 3 months? As I've said before, if they had employees flushing dollar bills down the toilet 24 hours a day, they still shouldn't have losses that big. This week we also learned that Payless is heading for bankruptcy. According to Bloomberg, the chain is planning to imminently close at least 400 stores. Payless Inc., the struggling discount shoe chain, is preparing to file for bankruptcy as soon as next week, according to people familiar with the matter. The company is initially planning to close 400 to 500 stores as it reorganizes operations, said the people who asked not to be identified because the deliberations aren't public. Payless had originally looked to shutter as many as 1,000 locations, and the number may still be in flux, according to one of the people. Of course, these are just 2 examples of a much broader phenomenon. Never before in U.S. history have we seen such a dramatic wave of store closures. According to Business Insider, over 3,500 retail locations are expected to close in just the next couple of months. Thousands of mall-based stores are shutting down in what's fast becoming one of the biggest waves of retail closures in decades. More than 3,500 stores are expected to close in the next couple of months. Once thriving shopping malls are rapidly being transformed into ghost towns, as I wrote about just recently, you might be tempted to think that Space Available was the hottest new retail chain in the entire country. The demise of Sears is going to be an absolute nightmare for many mall owners. Once anchor stores start closing, it is usually only a matter of time before smaller stores start bailing out. When an anchor store like Sears or Macy's closes, it often triggers a downward spiral in performance for shopping malls. Not only do the malls lose the income and shopper traffic from that store's business, but the closure often triggers co-tenancy clauses that allow other mall tenants to terminate their leases or renegotiate their terms, typically with a period of lower rents until another retailer moves into the anchor space. Years ago, I wrote of a time when we would see boarded up storefronts all across America, and now it is happening. Instead of asking which retailers are going to close, perhaps we should be asking which ones are going to survive this retail cataclysm. In the past, you could always count on middle-class U.S. consumers to save the day, but today the middle class is steadily shrinking and U.S. consumers are increasingly tapped out. For instance, just look what is happening to delinquency rates on auto loans. U.S. auto loans and lease credit loss rates weakened in the second half of 2016, according to a new report from Fitch Ratings, which said they will continue to deteriorate. Subprime credit losses are accelerating faster than the prime segment, and this trend is likely to continue as a result of looser underwriting standards by lenders in recent years, said Michael Tiano, director at Fitch. The last time so many Americans got behind on subprime auto loans was during the last financial crisis. We are seeing so many similarities to what happened just prior to the last recession, yet most Americans still seem to think that the U.S. economy is going to be just fine in 2017. Unfortunately, major red flags are popping up in the hard economic numbers and the financial markets. The last recession probably should have started back in late 2015, but thanks to manipulation by the Fed and an unprecedented debt binge by the Obama administration, official U.S. debt growth has been able to stay barely above zero for the last year and a half. Just because something is delayed does not mean it is canceled. All along, our long-term economic imbalances have continued to get even worse, and a date with destiny is rapidly approaching for the U.S. economy. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, let me know what you think, and have a great day. Take care. God bless. Thanks. Bye.